Abilities. Artoria Pendragon is the legendary king of knights, the one that ruled over the battlefields in the Age of Legends in life. She commanded the Knights of the Round Table, the greatest knights to ever live and heroes that would later be sung of in legends. If summoned as a servant, any of them would boast indisputable fame and strength. However, even among them, Artoria stands at the top. Despite Mordred being a first-class servant and possessing power worthy of the Saber-class, when comparing them to her father's, Mordred's specs are overall lower. The difference between the two is such, that Gawain claims that he'd normally defeat Mordred without breaking a sweat, even at night, when he's 3 times weaker than during midday, state in which he is considered to be an equal to King Arthur by some. As a servant, Artoria is widely considered to be the strongest heroic spirit in the Saber class, the one considered the most outstanding among the 7 classes due to its excellent ratings in all categories. Artoria doesn't fall short of that reputation. She is left very underpowered for the majority of the Fifth Holy Grail War due to Shirou's extremely bad aptitude and being unable to provide her with any magical energy due to his magical paths being obstructed. Unlike other heroic spirits who can fit under multiple classes, Artoria claims that she is only suited to the Saber class. However, she could possibly have the capacity to qualify for the caster class, but magecraft is not the way of the king, and she lacks the patience to actually learn magecraft. Magic Core. Saber was born with the magical energy of a dragon, shown by the Pendragon name, as Uther ordered Merlin to grant his successor the factor of the dragon, Ryu no Inshi. She is the holder of the element of the red dragon who carries the blood and very magical power of a phantasm in a human body, granting her a heart and unique magic circuits that transcend what can be achieved by normal humans and magi. Agravain claims that Artoria is not the incarnation of the dragon, but rather, that her heart is a single dragon. Thus, Saber's circuits are called a magic core, which is fundamentally different from those of a normal magus. While a magus body can be considered a machine which creates magical energy, hers acts as a factory which creates magical energy. Combat. One of Artoria's greatest deeds is defeating a dragon. When Artoria and her troops confronted the usurper Vortigern, only she was able to see through his true power. In an instant, before the others could react, Vortigern released its true form as a dragon that clouded the sky despite it being the mid of day, and vaporized the elite troops and the uninjured with a single attack. Only Artoria was able to react in time, quickly coming to Gawain's aid and shielding him from Vortigern's attack. Still, being a devourer of holy swords, he not only devoured all the light of Gawain's sword, depriving him of the power to fight in the process, but he also reduced the glow of Artoria's own holy sword to that of a weak bonfire, allowing his darkness to grow thicker than it was before. She is extremely skilled with a sword. Even unarmed and faced with a surprise attack from Taiga, said to be an unmatched kendo expert, Saber is able to easily disarm her without even taking a stance. She takes up teaching Shirou, but only focuses on giving him as much battle experience as possible because she does not have an aptitude for teaching others. While her ability as a swordsman is proficient, it is not where her true strength lies, but rather her enormous amount of magical energy. Class skills. Magic resistance, a rank. The immense magical power from Artoria's dragon blood grants her a very strong magic resistance that is the highest amongst the servants, especially due to it having increased in magnitudes upon being summoned in the Saber class. She is capable of completely neutralizing grand sorceries involving magic arrays and instant contracts. No matter what kind of large spell, magecraft ranked below A is nullified, even those from the Age of Gods. As such, no modern magi of the highest level can wound her, at least directly. However, she notes that divine mysteries greater than herself, such as true magic and members of the phantasmal species with divinity, can overwhelm it. It is possible that it will not function to its fullest extent if she is targeted by dragon-slaying sorceries. In the story, Artoria retained her magic resistance of a while having Shirou and Rin as masters, regardless the two's differences in power and characteristics. Riding, B rank. Since knights are soldiers who are proficient in mounted warfare, Saber's rank in riding is very high. Chariots and normal mounts can easily be ridden, but she is unable to control Pegasi, griffins, dragons, and other magical beast and divine beast ranked members of the phantasmal species. She cannot handle such high-level beings because her class is not rider, and due to the fact that she was a king in the Age of Man, she does not have the fortune of having legends of riding phantasmal species. She is able to control modern machinery like motorcycles and automobiles in a similar fashion to mounts. Mana Burst, a rank. Saber's entire fighting style and strength are based around her Mana Burst skill. With it, she can infuse and accumulate magical energy into her weapon and body, momentarily injecting an arbitrary vector that allows for an exceptional boost of her abilities by instantaneously releasing the magical energy to reinforce herself. In other words, it's jet propulsion with mana. This heroic spirit applies it in sword fights for defense and movement, demonstrating high performance in every aspect. She uses the magical energy for her sword techniques, guarding, and movement. Executing large-scale body reinforcement through mana burst is only possible with Artoria's immense magical power. At rank A, even a stick can become a weapon of great power. However, normal weapons without strong divine protection such as Caliban will not be able to endure the magical energy-fueled attack and will be destroyed with one blow. Instinct, a rank Artoria possesses the ability to always instantly identify the best personal course of action during combat. It is an innate ability unlike something that can be gained by anyone through hard work like Mind's Eye, True. Due to having been strengthened by a degree from the specialty of the Saber-class, it is essentially a sixth sense in the realm of predicting the future. Because this skill allows for the prediction of trajectory, it is possible to avoid attacks from firearms, and along with listening to the sound of cutting air, she can be said to have a protection against all projectile weapons. Charisma, B rank Artoria possess B rank Charisma, a rare talent high enough to be the king of a country. Although Artoria reigned as the king of England, even her strong influence was still insufficient to build a vast empire spanning the world, so its rank isn't higher. Invisible Air. Artoria's first noble phantasm is always invisible air, with which she conceals her sword. It does not allow the enemy to determine its range. It is simple, but tremendously effective in hand-to-hand combat. The sword is surrounded by wind that reflects light, making it virtually invisible. It is not a vacuum, but the wind whirring around the blade is like a weapon and it seems to increase the damage of the slash. Only when the compressed wind is released is a vacuum state created. Excalibur. Artoria wields Excalibur, a divine construct forged by the planet. The sword works by converting the mana of the wielder into light, that is unleashed from the tip of the blade like a laser beam that destroys everything in its path. Although Artoria can exert energy on the level of a divine spirit, she has never been able to fully unleash this noble phantasm due to its full power being limited by the 13 restraints. Even though Excalibur's true power can only be invoked with the appearance of a foreign enemy threatening the planet, it remains as the strongest holy sword. Avalon. As a servant, Artoria doesn't possess Avalon, Excalibur's sheath, since she lost it in life and is yet to die and ascend to the throne of heroes. However, the genuine article still exists in the present, serving as her catalyst for both the Fourth and Fifth Holy Grail Wars. Surprisingly, it is not the sword, but its scabbard that truly possesses an outstanding ability. With this noble phantasm, Artoria can heal from any wound unless her brain is destroyed. Even the wounds sustained by Enoma Elish are healed in a few minutes without consuming any magical energy. By invoking its true name, Avalon will deploy a bounded field that provides the greatest defense by shutting out all physical interference and placing her in the land of the fairies. It can also nullify the interference of true magic, thanks to being an existence equivalent to it. At the time of her death, Artoria still owned the Holy Lance Rhongomyniad, a divine construct said to be on par with Excalibur. With it, she killed Vortigern and later on Mordred. Although Artoria could switch between Excalibur and Rhongomyniad during battle when she was alive, as a Saber-class servant, she no longer has access to this noble phantasm. Before Artoria was given Excalibur and Avalon by the Lady of the Lake, her main sword was Caliban. Since it was broken in battle, she no longer possesses it as a servant. However, Shirou is able to project it thanks to the visions he had in his dreams. Even without making a perfect copy or invoking its true name, its power is great enough to allow Shirou to cut off Heracles' arm. After projecting it a second time, Saber and Shirou use it together to defeat Heracles by taking his 5 remaining lives with Caliban, which destroyed his body 7 times over with a single blow. Artoria also formerly owned Clarent, a treasured sword that has worth equal to, if not, exceeding Caliban. It was capable of amplifying her authority as a king, the king's royal aura, by raising her physical parameters by 1 rank and increasing the rank of her already high charisma skill. The holy sword used to be stored away in Camelot WP's treasure vault. However, Mordred stole it from Artoria during her temporary rule while the latter was away. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.